Welcome back to The Good Talk, our post-game recap and Q&A show where we discuss the game that we just played and answer all your burning questions, both Warhammer and otherwise. We just came off an amazing game of the Battle of Petch, which was, of course, the culmination of a collaboration between Hobby Titans and Tabletop Titans. Brett was the mastermind behind the board, the project, all that stuff. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out now. Also, if you haven't watched the battle, go check that out now because we're going to spoil it.
Spoilers.
How you doing, Brett?
Good. Yeah, this is awesome. Like we talked about during the game, I've been like thinking about this for months. Yeah. It's been a long time in coming. It was super fun to produce and make and film and just like talk with you guys about the narrative and how are we gonna like how's the story gonna play out, design the game and the scenario with Brian,
right.
Build and paint the terrain with Zach. This is like. It was so much fun, and this is really like a cool project for us to kind of show you guys how we approach the process of like conceiving of and executing narrative games for, just for fun, really. But like, there's nothing about what we did that you guys couldn't do at home with your gaming groups as well. So it's a cool process, and we really dig it. So
absolutely,
it was a ton of fun. It was obviously a lot of work, but it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, and it was cool. We got to kind of. Everyone had their own talents and ways they kind of contributed to the project.
Totally.
You were the guide and the orchestrator and went through and you kind of talked to each person.
What's funny? Like Zach really enjoys narrative gaming.
Yeah.
But he kind of doesn't care about the story.
No, he
mostly just cares about like the visual storytelling.
Yes.
Right. He like wants everything to look pretty. He wants like there to be sort of a cohesive theme between the different terrain pieces and like he'll like nerd out on like why is this piece of moss like the right color on this table with this tree. But then you ask him like, hey, what's your commander's name? He's like, none of my characters are named.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're here.
It's so weird.
He's like.
They have no reason to be there. None of them have names.
That's right.
So just soldiers in a war.
Right.
Like, so we like obviously nerd out on like different parts of the game, but that's like what Warhammer is. Everyone gets excited about different bits about it.
Yeah, so. Some people just get excited about the color of trees.
That's right. That's right.
And it was cool, and we were able to make a custom mission. You and Brian actually kind of discussed that. Again, it's in that video where you basically took. Parts from one mission, combined with parts from another mission, so it's all stuff that we know is more or less internally balanced with the game.
Yep.
All the secondaries we took were as normal, but the way we enforced the narrative was said, okay, these are the two that the orcs have to take, where it's about killing people, and these are the two that the tower have to take, which is about sort of surviving, making it through, because there's a battle later to come, which is the actual full battle of Petch.
Right.
Yeah. And that was cool.
And there was still a little bit of agency. The players in the game still got to choose their third secondary. So it was, you have a little bit of choice there. And it was great. It worked out really well.
Absolutely. So it was a cool game. Blood Axes versus Sacia.
Yeah.
And really, I think it was pretty neck and neck. We were kind of trading until turn 3 was the turning point where I posted up in the middle with, it was like 30 boys.
Yeah.
Popped the once per game force field before it fizzled out. First
time
I
was
ever
big.
used it.
That was
huge.
big.
If I didn't have that, we were just talking. The boys melt. The biker boss either melts or is tagged, to be honest.
Tagged, yeah. But he can fall back and charge.
Oh, he can fall back and charge. That's true. That's true. But you can at least take the center point.
Right.
Because by me surviving, it turned off your, it denied your stranglehold.
Yeah, and the stranglehold, like being able to turn on my stranglehold was huge. And just the fact that it was a hold 2, hold 3 mission meant that I had to hold the center to get 10 points in the primary.
Right, yeah.
And I sort of doubled down on that by choosing stranglehold as a secondary. So it was, I mean, maybe another way that I could have played that, chosen a different secondary, just given up the center and said, I'm only going to hold these 2. I'm only ever going to get 5 points on primary turn. And just put all my chips on the secondaries and try to deny you your secondaries, max mine. If possible, I don't know what it would have taken otherwise, but like...
I probably would have taken engage.
Engage.
Because you can just throw... You had 2 of the quarters every turn for sure, and then you just throw like a unit of drones over into the top left quarter every turn.
Drones.
And you just throw some garbage unit across and you get your engage.
Yeah,
I think that's
would have been a good choice.
That's a good point. I didn't think about the drones.
Yeah.
Because we talked about like rod and stuff like that, and it was like, well, often in order to do a rod, you're sacrificing a unit, but for engage, it doesn't have to be infantry or anything, so the drones.
Yeah, it doesn't need to do an action.
That's a good point. Yeah. Secret tech in a very old book.
Man, I know, that's right. You're like trying to find these like gems that aren't really
Right.
gems. You're just like, maybe I can
Yeah.
smelt this mineral into something somewhat valuable.
Right.
That was a weird analogy.
Lipstick on a pig, maybe,
Lipstick
is
on
a
a
more
pig.
familiar
There you go.
There
analogy.
you go.
Lipstick on a drone.
Anyway, long story short, you won, Adrian.
I did win.
You pulled it out.
Yeah, I did.
What was your MVP?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ludas.
What's that? Ludas. Gosh, I'm glad I had Ludas because I love them, but they were so bad.
Like half of them died when on the vehicle explosion. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
One of them, the Spanner died to his own gun. Then a bunch of them
right.
died from the explosion and morale. And then I had the 5 that lived, but like 5 Ludas is not going to do anything.
Right.
You need the volume.
Yep.
Because I also wasn't worth spending points on strats at that point.
Yeah.
What are you
Yep.
going to do? So it's definitely not them. I was really happy with 3 things in my army. Just be brief. Commandos, obviously, always great.
They did so good.
So good. Snickrot,
He was amazing.
Snickrot was
amazing.
amazing.
He held his line. He's super cheap, fighty, killy. He's just like slicing up, your dogs.
After the game, you told me he was 70 points, and I was like,
Yeah,
mind blown. He killed
Yeah.
like 4 times that much.
he's super cheap.
Welcome to
It's
9th
crazy.
edition.
Right?
Oh my god.
And then, truth be told, the boys were great as well.
Boys were great.
Wait till you see more of Vol.
Shoot him.
Yeah, let me tell you about more. Have you seen a succubus before, Brett?
Hey, they're like 90 points now.
No, they're
Oh, wow.
80 points. They're still only 80 points.
That's a shame.
That's egregious.
That's a shame.
Anyways, so it's one of those 3.
I'm going to be excited for 20-point crisis suits.
20-point crisis suits. Yeah, I'll give you to that because the guns will be like 50 each. That's such a Tau thing. Like the guns are more expensive
They
than the model,
right.
right?
better make all the guns free and figure out a way. They need to AOS
Internally
crisis
balanced-
suits
Internally balanced. the
Right.
guns.
where
It's like,
everything's free
Right.
yeah.
and they're comparable weapons.
Yeah, they're
luck
like
with that.
just good against different targets.
I mean, if burst cannons go to strength 5 AP2,
82?
it's a big ask. I know. It's a big ask. But if they go strength 5 AP2, then that's kind of comparable
No, yeah.
to a CIB.
So burst cannons, I think you can balance. Flamers are the tougher thing to balance.
Flamers are tough.
Don't let them take flamers anymore.
I feel
make
like
them-
we did discuss this before, and that was your suggestion. Yeah.
everybody else's flamers are strength 6 AP1 now, so do that.
What? Name one other flamer that's that.
Custodies.
That's
There's a
literally the
lot
only
of strength 6 flamers in the game, though. There's the sisters end up with strength 6 essentially.
one. The heavy Minotaur, right?
Yeah.
Wait, when you say essentially, see, this is a Bridger thing. Do you mean
That's-
actually or not?
Well, it's strength 5 with +1 to wound.
Yeah.
So
so.
it's essentially strength 6.
It's better than strength 6.
Yeah, it's better
In-
than strength 6.
In most cases, it's effectively strength 6.
In many
Unless
cases,
against T4 or T3 infantry, and then it's just
No, against
better.
T3, it's the same.
No, T3 it's the same. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Choose
just
no matter what.
T4. It's just T4 that it's
T4.
different.
Oh,
What
but
about a higher toughness?
Which, to be honest, pretty rare in the game right
it's a
now.
good thing there's not a lot of T4 in this
No,
game.
T7.
Okay.
You're winning on
matters
5s, goes
against
to 4s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's 2 critical toughnesses.
So you know what
I
I
don't see much of.
You know what I've always wanted for crisis suits
Yeah.
is, like you say, all the guns to be internally balanced, just
Yeah.
good against different targets, and then for them to be like assassins. So like
Oh,
at the start of the
interesting.
game,
You're a mean man.
you pick a thing, you equip your crisis suits with guns, and then you can pay a CP to like swap out all your guns before the game.
That would be cool.
Because that's the like crisis suit thing, right? Like 'cause
That's
they,
cool.
They're like a rapid response to whatever the threat is.
And they just like,
And they just
Exactly.
like they just grab whatever guns
They
are on
Iron
the
Man.
wall,
they're adaptable.
and then they jump out of the manta
Okay.
and drop in with
sounds-
exactly the right gun
I'm
for the
super
job.
sold with this. Super
So
sold.
I've always wanted them to, and this differentiates them from commanders and hazards and all these other sort of like
Yeah.
similar profile units in the
Yeah.
army, where it's like, hey, these guys are less good commanders, but they'll always have the perfect gun against every opponent
That's
because
awesome.
you can just pay a CP to swap
love
it
that.
out.
That's cool.
I'm a fan. I think, yeah, I want them to be able, have the option of being more of the main line of an army.
Yeah.
It feels like Crisis are they're always either you have to take them or you never take
Or
them.
you never take them.
Right?
Yeah.
Different depending on the edition.
What if you had like one squad that you upgraded and they just always had whatever guns you need? They're Iron Man and like
Sure.
the gun you need pops out.
Pops
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
So you can just
Yeah.
you just count as having all the guns, but like only up to a certain amount.
What if they were
total.
just obliterators?
What if they were just?
Oh, if you just turned all the guns into one gun.
Yeah.
It's one profile and it's just a good profile. This goes against what
No,
you were
he's talking
asking
about
for, Brett.
old. He's talking about old obliterators where they have all the guns and they can choose which ones they're getting.
I wasn't, but now I am.
That sounds exhausting.
Or like you have like a baseline profile and you can choose
plus
how to distribute
yeah.
your
Plus 1 strength,
stats,
plus 1
basically.
AP. Oh,
That would actually work for Brett's thing, where it's
Yeah.
like every gun is
Adaptable.
good in a different
Exactly.
scenario.
Cool.
Look, I think we solved Tau.
Yeah.
I hope that's what
we
they put
got
in the
off
new
on
book.
a huge tangent. None of that has anything to do with your MVPs.
Oh, it's Snickrot. We should do
It's
Snickrot.
Snickrot.
He was dope. What about you? What's your MVP?
So the Ghost Keel,
Yeah. Oh my
he
gosh,
did all the
yes.
things. He didn't die, which is what Ghost Keels are supposed to do.
Yep.
I gave him the Relic Fusion, and he used it to punk your war boss in the face.
Oh my God, he
in
so punked him.
in engagement range. Yeah, like Ghost Keel's jobs are to not die and to kill. Like if you give them the Relic Fusion, you're sort of expecting them,
pretty
or
good.
hoping that
Yeah.
they'll kill something high value.
Big fan of them.
And yeah, like the combo of being able to shoot the guns in engagement range is good if your opponent just charges you with one big thing.
Yeah.
Bonus points if that big thing doesn't have an invuln save.
Right.
Right.
So
exactly.
yeah, that can catch a lot of people off guard if they're like, wait, what? You're just going to stand there and shoot me?
Right.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we were talking like you can even pay a CP to put a Markalate on that thing that you're in engagement with so that you can reroll the ones with the
Yep.
shooting attacks. So yeah, he did awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I was happy.
He's great.
Everything else I was like everything else kind of didn't did ninth ed Tau.
Yeah.
Did eighth
Yeah.
ed Tau in a ninth ed game.
Just kind of quietly
But-
disappointing.
Yeah, quietly disappointing. That's fine. It was fun. It was a fun game.
It's still cool. We're still able to sort of internally balance, make it a
Yeah.
game, make it interesting. I'm really glad we did it. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. That's what matters.
That's all you can ask for. So again, before we move on, make sure you guys check out the video on Hobby Titans. We have a little mail.
We do have
Little
a pre-prepped mail time. Xenodrag, thank you for being patient.
Yes, thank
We
you.
did have a bit of a miscommunication about when this would be on mail time and when it wouldn't be. And we were here, but we weren't here. And then
Yeah.
I was like, Zach, can you do it on mail time? And he was like, sure. And then they didn't. So it was a fiasco, but we made it.
Hopefully you're here now.
Xenodrag, I DM'd him. Not
Oh,
recently
cool.
though. I DM'd him yesterday, telling him we would do it today.
Yeah.
Hope he's here.
Hopefully.
Or I'll just tell him again. Watch this.
You should do that too.
And
probably.
Tell 'em again.
from the future,
This is me from the past,
from the past.
telling me in the future to message Xenodrag. Anyway.
I think he meant that to Xenodrag in the past, but also you too. When you forget this and you watch the show later on, because
Right.
that's the thing you apparently will do, then you'll be you from the past talking to you from the future.
Xenodrag, when you watch this in the future, before I remembered to message you, message me, and then I'll message you in the past.
There you go.
Wow,
All right.
I'm confused.
So we're going to cut to the glam cam. So Xenodrag
Beautiful.
told me about this at SoCal.
Yeah, we're
He was like, hey, I have this. Do you want it? And I was like, cha.
oh yeah.
It's awesome. And he was like, cool, let me finish it. I'll send it to you. All right, so firstly, the contents. The Titan Watch stuff got lost in the warp. That's why it took so long to get to you. Here's the Heavy Intercessors coming to Titan Watch directly from their tour in the Indominus Crusade. They choose to join the Titan Watch together rather than be split off into a new Primaris chapter. They're all, I got lost. They're all of the Space Wolf gene stock, and such have an inborn nature that drives them to take trophies of their kills. In all honesty, the only Space Marine decals I had were Ultramarines and Space Wolves, so I went with Space Wolves because there's nothing my Thousand Heart son, my Thousand Son heart likes more than watching Space Wolves get shot or stabbed to death.
This is true.
So here you are. I built and painted them the day I got home from SoCal. It's a bit rushed, sorry. The basing was done to make Brian happy and Zach sad. That's Goblin
Wow.
Green
Goblin green
rims
on the basing.
I saw that. Was the first
love
thing I
it.
saw. I was like, oh, it's you two are man of culture.
The Necromunda kill team is for Bridger's use in case you ever play another game. I wanted to do a super 80s cyberpunk neon acid trip style, and I think they came out okay.
Yeah.
If you ever need another one built with a specific weapon loadout, let me know. I have the upgrade sprue from Forge World and a few extra dudes from this kit. Hope you enjoy it. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Dude, I'm just going to
That's
play...
amazing.
I don't know what any of the rules are. I'm going to play this.
They're really
The thing
cool.
you gave me, I'm in love.
They
look
gorgeous.
awesome.
I love the scheme too.
I really like their idea of equipping the decals for things that he loves, that they love seeing die
Right.
and get completely destroyed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you know that at some point we'll play them, and at some point they'll get shot and
They're
get
gonna-
killed.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very different take than what we've seen others go for.
Yeah,
but
most people are like, this is
I'm
my
into it.
hero.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
stuff. And we're like, this guy, he's like a red shirt, you know?
But yeah, if you send us a bunch of red shirts and put badges on their shoulders for the chapter that you love to see get get destroyed, then
I love it.
we can facilitate that. We can make that happen.
They look awesome. Thank you, Xenodrag.
There's a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
He did sneak in a super chat. So I would like to sneak in a cheeky super chat in this message. Ask about my Thousand Suns list after the adjustments from SoCal. The new list is, okay, so what he played at SoCal.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so this was like a month ago. All right. There was the Demon Prince, the durable Demon Prince.
Yeah.
He had 2 character psychers, one on disc, one not.
Yeah.
These are sorcerers.
Yeah.
I don't know Thousand Suns, but I think I'm doing all right.
You're doing great.
There was a 10-man of Terminators.
Cool.
And then I believe another 5-man of Terminators, but I
Nice.
might be making that up. And then 2 or 3 squads. I'm trying to replay the game in my head.
Yeah.
Of like, I killed this, and then I killed that, and then I killed that. I think it was 3 squads of rubrics, 5, and then a 10 with special weapons.
Yeah.
10 Zangors,
Yeah.
Mutilate Vortex Beast.
Nice.
I think that's the entire list.
Yeah. Cool.
Is that 2,000 points?
It's close. It sounds a little short, but it's close.
Well, it was 20.
I guess the Demon Prince is a
I
lot.
think it was 10, 5, 5 Terminators.
10, 5,
So it's
5.
20 Terminators
Ooh, yes.
and 20 rubrics.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this wrong. I'm sure I got something wrong.
Well, if you have what he said, I love it.
That's what he played at SoCal.
And now what is it?
Now-
No Terminators. You make me cry.
Okay. So, new list, 2 disc sorcerers,
Okay.
1 with scroll and arrogance of ages and Rahati, 1 with dark crystal and a Kopesh, an infernal master with the orrery, 2 units of min rubrics with soul reapers, 1 of 8 rubrics with soul reaper and icon, 2 units of gores with blades, a unit of 10 scarab occult with 2 soul reapers, 2 hellfire. The sorcerer has ardent automata, a gore shaman with seeker after shadow warlord trait. He'll be a warp ritual monkey. 3 individual chaos spawn. He had chaos spawn as well.
Yeah.
Gotta play the
Oh,
game.
and they were Gryphound
Oh
conversions.
my god, how did I forget the 2
Yes.
Helldrakes that were in the army?
Oh no. Good
I
job.
totally forgot
Good
about.
job.
So also a Mutilate the Vortex Beast and 2 Helldrakes with Bale Flamers.
Sweet.
It was awesome to meet you all. Thanks for being as cool in real life as you are on stream.
Ow.
That's very flattering because I am way less cool in real life.
Or you're just not cool on stream in the first place.
Ooh, it's possible. It's possible. So the list, what do you think?
I like it. It's hard to compare to the list that Bridger came up in his head. I'm not 100% sure now if it's real.
I think I gave him too many units.
I think this one is worse compared to the fictional one that Bridger came up
Well,
That may or may not actually be a real list. Yeah.
mine might have been 2,600 points. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, so
exactly.
the 2,600 point list sounds better, but
I like it a lot, though. 2 things I'm always on the fence on. Well,
Okay.
1 thing I'm not on the fence. I just don't like it. It's the Shaman.
Okay.
I think he's really expensive and doesn't do very much.
Okay.
I get it at Warp Patrol Monkey, so you are a much more experienced Thousands player than I am. So if that's the specific tech and it works, then that's great. Helldrakes, don't think they got the love that they deserved.
The reason the Helldrakes were in the list, I talked to
Yeah.
them about this at SoCal.
tell.
The reason they were in the list is 2 of them together can, if you go first, kill a flyer.
Oh, I see.
And
Kill
so
one
it was
flyer.
in the flyer meta.
Yeah.
It was like one of few answers that Thousand Suns actually have.
That's true.
got it.
It's true.
And it turns the 90-10 matchup into like an 85-15.
Wow, harsh. It's a 5% boost.
It's a really bad matchup.
It's a terrible
You're like
matchup.
the perfect target for everything they have.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you can't really, they just put giant blobs of infantry in front of all their valuables, and then your smites don't matter. Like, that's a really rough matchup.
yeah. Yeah.
But the Helldrakes are supposed to blunt how bad that matchup
Okay.
is.
Yeah, fair enough. So again, it becomes kind of Xenodrag knows this matchup, knows the army.
Yeah.
It's kind of teching into that. And then everything else I like, right? There's the min squads, except for the Terminators, which you do big squad. Sounds like you have a good amount of casting support with the other sorcerers, and more.
The Demon Prince
Sancors.
left the list. He's no longer there, which I support. Don't like Demon Princes.
They're cool, but they're just so expensive for what they do.
Yeah.
Just having more sorcerers, even sorcerer thralls,
Yeah.
and just more regular units. That's the thing. This army is regular units, you know?
Demon Princes, there's so many things in the game that can just one-shot them now.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get one-shot, you might as well just be 60 points cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Still get the same powers.
absolutely.
Well,
Thank you, Xenodrag. We appreciate it.
thank you.
Greatly.
thank you.
All right,
And-
we have some questions, yeah?
Now we have to play Blood Bowl and Necromunda. Because people gave me things.
I'm excited.
So
Yeah. Well, I just finished my team. My Necromunda I'm ready for
My
you.
team's right there.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We're gonna play Blood Bowl.
We're gonna play. I'm legitimately. I was like waiting for like Gibraltar to be done, so I can be like, let's play Blood Bowl.
It's time.
Those guys have Goblin Green bases too.
They do,
Yeah.
but that's actually perfect for
Yeah, for Blood Bowl.
Blood
Blood
Bowl.
Bowl.
Right.
It's you're not allowed to actually base in any other. It's in the rule book.
Got it.
You lose points.
Okay, I believe it.
I would too. That rule book has 1,000
If
tiny
it's not
rules.
a real rule, then
It is
should
now.
be. Yeah.
If it's not a real rule, you'll never find it because that rule book is so
Book
dense.
is so dense. It's like the thickness of a 40K codex,
Right.
except it's all rules.
Yeah.
The whole way.
There's no
through.
fluff. It's all rules. So cool.
The rules are the fluff.
Gosh.
All right, thank you, Ethrian. I just played my Phobos Heavy Wolf Spears yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Incursors are great. Sacrificial forward deploys, screen, and buy the mine upgrade. Actions upfield.
You like the mine. I don't know about that. I was listening to everything else until you said that. But sacrificial,
I actually don't even know how the mine works anymore.
it
'Cause-
doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't like against vehicles?
It's like against vehicles, like after a charge, you can do like some mortal wounds once per game.
Do you still place it on the battlefield?
No, it's just a token.
That's lame.
You know what is good though? Sorry, small side conversation. The squig mine on the squig buggies. It's only 6-inch range, and you just toss it, and it's like a little smite basically.
Right.
And for some reason, it works against flyers. So you're just like, hup.
what?
I would be upset too if, like, let's be honest, this is for AdMech flyers with the one
Right,
apartment save,
right.
so no sympathy. Anyway, squig mines. So you should put some squig mines with your incursors.
Yeah.
But this is the role that we
advice.
said that this is like, okay, there's one role where they're good, and it is. It's like early game screening and aggression, get them in there, they're gonna die,
And
they'll
do
the thing.
do some actions or something. They're just cheaper infiltrators. That's exactly what we said. Is
Yep.
they do all the things infiltrators do. They're just a little worse, but they're cheaper.
Yeah, so nail on the head, Ethereum.
There you go. Thank you, Matthew. Hey, Titans. My 7-year-old, she goes by V. Have you been watching Arcane?
No,
We're putting a pause on this. You haven't watched
I
Arcane?
heard it's really good though.
It's, I don't know about really good. I watched all 3 episodes in one sitting, which is
3
rare.
episodes?
Well,
Is
there's
it,
only
like,
3 out
releasing?
now.
Okay.
There's only 3 out now. And that's 3 hours of content, and I tend not to sit down for 3 hours
Yeah,
of content.
you done did
So
it
that's
well.
a good sign.
Okay.
But it's not blowing me away. It's like just a lot of like pretty good. It's like, that was pretty good.
Okay.
It just keeps going with
Pretty
like,
fair. That's like
we're
the
pretty
best that
good.
you can offer. So
You don't regret your time spent.
I don't.
watching-
It was like a
watching the
decent.
show.
It was a decent 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Sure,
it was
sure.
fine. I'm not like crazy looking forward. I don't know when the next episode comes out, and I don't care. It's like okay. I'm like it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, you should watch Arcane. But V made me think of Vi. Sorry, Matthew.
that was it. That was the connection.
Yeah.
How is that not a connection?
I thought it was relevant. All right. Anyway.
You're telling me that the name V doesn't remind you of the name Vi.
I thought there was gonna be more there. I'll be honest. Brett.
That was not what I was expecting, actually.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
was expecting Bridger to go off on a very long and involved tangent and then be like, oh, this one word in the super chat made me think of that.
All right. Well, I guess that's shame.
Yeah.
You know, fool me twice, right?
All right, we're gonna start over. Thank
right.
you, Matthew. Hey, Titans. My 7-year-old, she goes by V.
Cool.
Sounds like Vi. Becomes 8 years old tomorrow. Congratulations and happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday,
tomorrow.
V.
She's got some awesome Death Guard presents coming, which hopefully she's opened by this time, or by the time she sees this. Can she get a shout out? Yes.
Yes.
She's a big fan of the channel. Hey,
awesome.
Happy birthday, V.
Happy birthday, V. That's awesome.
That's dope.
Enjoy your Death
Hope-
Guard.
And
Yeah.
V, if your parents will let you, watch Arcane.
Apparently, your name sounds like a word that's in the thing.
A name
It's a name.
of the main character.
Okay. Cool.
In the
Sounds
show.
good. Well, Death Guard are an awesome army. We're so excited that you're playing them. That's great. We're big fans of it here. Both Bridger and I, especially, love to play Death Guard.
Yeah,
We do.
Yeah, as you probably know.
it's a great army.
So,
I'm a
happy
fan of
birthday.
Death Guard. And I think, despite them not getting any changes after the data slate, they're going to increase in power. Because all the things that they're good against got better, and all the things that they're bad against got worse.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like a shadow buff.
Right?
Shadow
Death
buff.
Guard. Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially the type of list that you were leaning towards before, I think, got better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Good evening from London, guys. This is my first Super Chat after becoming a member this month. I really enjoy the quality of your bat reps. You blend competitive play with banter like no other.
Thank you. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. We work on our banter game. Our competitive play, not so much, but our banter we practice.
Yeah, we practice being saucy.
Yeah. Now, if I was to say this to you, What would you say? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
This is really a public speaking
Yeah.
channel, YouTube channel.
That's gonna be our new series. Now that is Emperors Only. Sorry.
Back on
appreciate
Arcane for a second.
Oh my God.
This is on my mind.
Is there another?
I don't know if you got
word?
the
You said
email.
another word.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Brandon Bridger,
No, it's
like
just-
another thing.
I can't. It's on the brain. All right.
Okay.
They're doing like a. You ever done like a murder mystery dinner or like a masquerade ball? You know those exist. They're
Yeah.
like things that
Yeah,
adults
yeah.
go to.
Sure.
You're like part of the show. You're
Yes.
in the show.
Yes.
They're doing one of those really big for Arcane in LA. November through like middle of December.
Yeah.
And I want to go. Are you guys at all interested?
So you're like, oh, I'm like kind of like this thing. I'm not that great.
I could
but I
take
think
it or
you're
leave
secretly
it.
really into it.
I could take it or leave it, but I'm considering
He's super
traveling
into
to
it.
the other side of the state.
it's not that far.
to-
It's like 5 hours. It's not that far.
Wait, it's in LA?
It's in LA.
If you're breaking multiple speed limits, then it's 5 hours.
What? Going to LA's
It's 6.
6. All right, 6 hours. Sure, 6 hours. Highway 5. Nobody goes to speed limit.
Look, you're not wrong, but
I'm not that into the show, but I am really into League, and it's just like a League dinner party.
Oh, okay.
Like a big, but I don't think there's dinner. It's just like a walk around, be a part of the League universe, and they give you like instructions on how to dress. You muddy yourself. You're part of the
no,
Undercity.
I'm down.
I think it's pretty cool.
Let's do it.
That sounds
I
fun.
think it's cool. It's like
I'll go.
it's like a Broadway show, but you're on stage
Do we get to
with
dress up?
everybody's on stage.
on
and you
stage?
dress up.
Do we need to know anything about League?
It won't make a whole lot of sense if you don't know at least the stuff that's in Arcane.
Okay. Got to study up.
Did you know that Dan Abnett actually doesn't write as much for GW anymore because he's writing for them? Which is
thought you
news
were
to
gonna
me.
say-
I didn't know there was a story.
Dan Abnett played League of Legends.
Well,
Does he? I wouldn't be
writers
surprised.
don't. I don't want to burst any bubbles, but just because you're a writer doesn't mean you have to do the thing that you're writing.
Yeah.
Didn't Abnett write Arcane? Is that how this came up?
Very possibly. No, we're talking about League, right? That's the connection.
What does Dan Abnett have to do
He's
with
writing
League?
content.
He writes
League.
for Riot.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
Because they are on their third iteration of the lore.
Yeah.
They had lore
This
that
a
was
couple
written
years ago.
by-
He went to them,
Right.
and it sounded like he wasn't going to write for G-Dubs, but it sounds like he's just writing less. Like he's still coming out with content for them, but at the time I was like, whoa, that's wild, you know?
Yeah, because he's very prolific.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they had original lore written by engineers, which was awful.
Oops.
And it was just
Really-
like Super Mario
Really
Party,
bad.
basically.
Like triple bad.
Yeah.
And then they were like, nope, none of that was canon. We were erasing all of it. We hired actual writers.
Yeah.
And then they did it again, and they hired like expensive writers. They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, now every time a champion comes out, we have like a book for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now they have authors.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
I'll go with you.
So that was the Arcane tangent.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Bradley. So now the Knights have OBSEC. I'm really tinkering with the idea of a Scion Knight soup list. Better to lean into 1 to 2 big Knights, or like 4 to 5 of the Armigers, or 4
Great
to
question.
6.
4
4
to
to
6.
6.
That's a good question.
What do Knights do for you
Yeah, it depends what you want him to do in your list.
that Scions don't do? That would be my question.
I almost say so to put it the opposite way, briefly, the Scions at this point, they're not your OBSEC anymore, they're just your action monkeys.
Their actions, yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of changes how I view them in the list.
Yep.
Yeah, are you coming at this from a I play Scions and want to add Knights perspective?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Or an I play Knights and want to add Scions? I think it's the Scions perspective adding
Right.
Knights.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
they weren't considering Knights until they had OBSEC. Because Knights gaining OBSEC, you wouldn't think, I'm going to soup in more stuff that's OBSEC now.
Correct.
Right. So I think this is a Scion player
Okay.
souping in Knights.
Okay, that's fair.
And I would say you lack board presence and combat. And I would take a bunch of small Knights.
yeah, that's
Right.
Armigers.
I agree.
Just cover the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Scions are already, if you want to tech into plasma guns and melta guns, like they can already be glass cannons. You can already have with Scions a lot of output, shooting output. So you don't need that from Knights. What you need is, like you said, combat and board presence. So I agree.
Absolutely. There you go.
There you go. So Armigers. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of Armigers.
Yeah.
I think so. Everyone's excited. We're all excited.
I'm excited.
Big stompy robots.
Yeah.
And it's more of the 9th edition style of like trading with smaller things. It's like
Yeah.
I'll kick you off this objective with 1 Armiger.
Right.
Because I have 8 more over here.
Oh my god.
And I can just keep doing this. I'll just keep
Do this
trading with you on
all
this
day.
objective.
It'd be
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Good evening from London, guys. Just started Necrons and have a question about fast attack choices 3x7 scarabs or 3x3 wraiths. They're the same points.
Wow.
Depends on your dynasty is how I would respond.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're all OBSEC, if you're the OBSEC custom dynasty, I think scarabs are going to do a lot more for you. Just in general, across the board, I think they're going to serve a purpose that the rest of your list will serve less well. However, I think there are canoptic lists now where you can, wraiths are core, so you can buff them up.
Yep.
They can get the, Technomancer canoptic buff. And now you want to be taking Technomancers because they bring models back. And a bunch of stuff's core now, so that's pretty good.
Like Wraiths.
Like Wraiths, bring them back. I might even go harder. If you're bringing Wraiths, I wouldn't do 3x3. I might do 2x5 and find the points to get the 10th one. Because they're not super, they don't really kill anything as 3 models.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do die to most everything as 3 models. Whereas 5, there's actually a pretty decent chance with your 4-up invuln.
Yeah.
The
Surviving.
The invuln can be a little swingy.
And you need to survive both for random mission protocols and to bring them back with the Technomancer.
Yep.
So if my only options are 3x7 scarabs or 3x3 wraiths, I would go with the scarabs.
Yeah, I feel like scarabs are kind of the default choice, and if you're teching into canoptic stuff, then wraiths are interesting.
Yeah.
But you have to sort of skew your list that way in order to make them compelling.
We good on time?
Yep.
I 100% agree.
I'll hang out for one more.
One more.
I gotta leave after this one.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Totally agree.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Hey, Titans, I'm trying to convince a friend to start with Tau. What would be your top argument for him? Keep on the great work. P.S. By Tau Steven.
Well, thank
Bye,
you.
Tau,
Appreciate it.
Steven.
What's your
Bye,
one
Tau,
argument?
Steven.
I mean, we talk a lot about this, but it's just about like the models you like. So if you think the model range is cool and you like the fluff of sort of expansionist good guy empire, good guy in air quotes, that young race heavy into tech, then you should do it. And they're getting a new book soon. That's another argument to start collecting them now. You've got a few months to paint up your guys before everything goes out of stock.
Right.
I think the way you choose your armies and the way you choose the units in your armies should just be about what you think's awesome.
Yeah.
And so if you like the model range, do it. If you don't like the model range, don't do it. But find something you like and pick it up and start painting.
Yeah, that's very true. Especially as we see right now the tower in a tough place, but they also kind of make you play in an awkward way that might not be for you.
Yeah.
But that can change in a
Don't
moment.
worry about that. Yeah, don't
exactly.
worry about
That comes and it goes. If you hate the models, if you don't like the models, but you play them because they're powerful, because they do this thing, it's a recipe for disaster later on.
That can be taken away by a data slate update. Yeah.
But if you like the models, you'll never have a problem.
Yeah.
And things that you will always need, troops.
Yep.
So get some fire warriors
Yeah.
of whatever variety suits your fancy.
Yep.
HQs, you're going to want commanders.
Yep.
At least 2. I think it's safe to say. They've always been a staple.
They're
Start
one
with
per
one.
detachment,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, but you want to own one of each. You want to enforce
I
during
think
a
2
cold star.
is pretty safe, yeah.
Have your options.
Yeah.
And transports are often a good thing to have. They might not be great, but Tau have been a transport faction forever.
Sure.
So it's pretty safe to buy them.
The start collecting box for Tau is one of the better values of all the
actually.
start collecting boxes. It's a really good
Yeah.
price for the models you get. And it's a good selection too. I think you get a squad of infantry, a devilfish, and a squad of crisis suits, if I'm not mistaken.
And crisis
an
suits are
ethereal.
also, and an ethereal.
And
It's so
ethereal,
good.
yeah.
You get all that in that box? That's
Yeah.
crazy good.
But crisis suits are also classic. You're always
Right.
going to want crisis
That's right.
suits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Nailed it.
Thanks,
Start
Tim.
Tau, Steven.
Start Tau,
Start
Steven.
Tau, Steven.
All right, I'm going to take off, guys.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Good game.
Great playing.
Yeah.
Good
thanks
to have
for-
you
We'll see you.
I'll,
We'll see you soon.
on the tabletop. Thanks for Petch.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to take your mic off.
Yeah, don't take that home.
He
with you.
goes all the way home. He's like, "Hey,
We need
honey, how's it going? You take out the trash, Brett. You never take out the trash." We're like all listening. We're like, "Oh, this is uncomfortable now."
We were like in Gibraltar when our bus driver got out to take a smoke and didn't turn his headset
Oh
off.
my god.
So just in the bus, we could hear him talking while smoking. He was like on the phone.
He's
Yeah, he was on the phone smoking, and we were like, "What's going on here?"
And then he was like, by the way, I got back and he turned off his mic,
Turned it off.
which is hilarious.
That was the best part.
And he told us we were gonna go see more monkeys. We're like, don't. He's like, we're like, luckily we took a picture. He's
Yeah,
like, don't
yeah.
worry, we're gonna see a lot more monkeys. And then he just took us back to town. I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck? We done been playing.
We were the monkeys.
Yeah.
That was really funny though, because he was like a tour guide the whole time. He was like talking to this mic, pointing at things and saying like,
Yeah.
And on our left now you see this thing,
Yeah.
and then he has this mic on for the smoke break. He turns it off for the drive.
It's so good.
All right, thank you, Sleepy Gary.
Oh, what's up, Sleepy Gary?
Hey guys, it's Dylan. It's a
Hey.
pleasure seeing you at SoCal. Thank you for signing my objective marker. Hope you guys enjoy the giant flies. That says file. Files.
Files. No, it says flies.
No, it says files.
Oh,
That says files.
Fair
yeah.
enough. Well, thank you very much. It's funny. We met Dylan at SoCal as well, and
Did sign his objective.
we did, and we were like, blah blah blah. Well, it's great meeting you.
Oh, the
What?
STL files.
Yeah.
For the Gargants.
Right. Oh, you were still processing.
I was still figuring out
I
what
see, I
giant
see.
files meant.
Yeah.
I was like nail files?
Nail files?
Like a stack of paperwork?
Yeah.
Like what?
Once we determined it wasn't flies, I was like, okay. Yeah. So he helped us out with some awesome STLs for Mega
They're
Gargants.
very cool.
We're gonna get some more Mega Gargants, by the way.
We do need more. If I were to, Zach keeps trying to get me to play competitive AOS, and I'm like, bro,
Try to get everyone to do it.
I don't even play competitive 40K. Like,
Yeah.
Do you see how tired I am?
Yeah,
I don't,
all
what do you
the
want from me?
time.
But Gargants are so sufficiently simple, and like I don't have to actually learn a whole new meta.
Right.
People can tell me they're doing a thing, and I'll be like, sure, you do that thing, and then I just kick an objective and I play the game, right? Like,
it. Love
I'm
it.
willing to play it, but we do need more Gargants for me.
What do we need?
There's 2 lists. There's one that is 3 Kraken Eaters.
Right.
Because you're Taker Tribe, and you just sit on objectives and kick them around. You just play football with the objectives.
Woof.
And then there's a list with a bunch of, it's 2 Gate Crusher, 2 Man Crusher, or not Man Crusher, Man Normie, whatever Norm is. The 3rd Mega Gargant type.
Gate Crusher, Kraken, and
Bone,
Gate Stomper? Bone Stomper?
War Stomper.
War
It's War
Stomper.
Stomper and Gate Crusher. So it's two of each. Those are like the 2 lists. And we can't make any of those because we were like,
One of each.
yeah, we were
Classic.
like, well, you know, we were like, I don't know, these all seem cool. Let's
Right.
make one of each. Yeah, so if we get more Gargants with those files.
Sounds good. Well, one of my favorite ones that I found was one that Sleepy Gary has, and it's a Kraken Eater that's just carrying a whole whale. He's just like, oh, I'm going to take this
Yeah.
whale with me, and it's a gorgeous model.
Super cool.
So, anyways, yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you're going to play Gargants, you have 3 Kraken Eaters. You don't want them all to look the same.
No.
That's
the thing.
lame.
That's the thing.
You need these cool upgrade STL files. Make them unique.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sam. I would like to start a Harlequin's army. Where do you think I should start for a competitive list, and what strats and abilities should I be looking at?
Totally. So Harlequins are luckily easy to... choosing what to start is easy. You're going to get a few boxes of troops.
Not many boxes.
Not many
exist.
boxes. Yeah. Kit those out. You'll have a troop master or 2 from that. I still really like the Relic Blade, which is a Relic Power Sword.
Fang?
So, yeah, it's something Fang. The
Twilight's Fang.
Twilight Fang?
Curtain Fall.
I think it is Twilight Fang. Curtain Fall's a gun. The Phantom of the Opera.
The Cloak of Knives.
Cloak of Kisses. The Big Smooch. Anyways, competitive Harlequins right now. Look, the bikes are still good. I'm not sure if you want units of 3 or you want units of 5, but you at least want a couple units. So I'd say at least 2x3 to start. So that's 2 boxes of them, regardless. As far as the troops, I really struggle because it's such a meta question. You know, we're talking about how we think meltas and infusions are interesting right now. Does that mean you should tech into those? I'm
If you
really
do,
not
you
sure.
need the boats.
You need the boats. I think regardless, I would still get a couple boats. You know, look at my list, which is obviously old at this point, but I wasn't playing Soaring Spite. I wasn't playing boat Harlequins. I still had 3 boats just for utility. being in there, pop out and score, do stuff. You still have to be able to play the game. So honestly, what I'm hearing from myself is 3 boxes of the troops, 2 boxes of bikes, 2 boxes of transports.
A Shadow Seer, 2 Troop Masters?
And, the Troop Masters are part of it.
Oh, they're like Custodies.
They're like Custodians.
They're the other micro faction
Yeah, yeah.
where they're just like, I don't know, just turn it into a character.
Yeah,
Who cares?
exactly. Which is why it's like, you have to work really hard to make them distinguishable from just
Yeah.
like a regular Joe. And the Shadow Seer, yeah.
There you
So
go.
that's where I'd start. I know that's a lot of boxes, but that's kind of what I would do.
That's
We did it.
Thank you, Frank. I am painting Black Legion, red, gold, and black is back.
Yeah.
Spec Marines don't know how to act.
I see what you did there. What the heck?
I'm very confused.
Thanks, Frank. We appreciate it. Hey, Black Legion, best Legion. You know what they say? That's what they say. Everyone says that.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. Now that the Hunter meta was foully assassinated by game balance,
Yeah, what's that?
I was looking at 2 Stormspeeder Thunderstrikes, 2x5 Blade Guard, 2 Redemptor Dreads, and a Gladiator Reaper, Ironstone, and Awakened.
And Awakened. So everything but the Stormspeeder I like. I'm still not sold on them from a purely competitive standpoint. They're awesome. They're cool. I'm going to have 2 in my Dark Angels, but I'm not sure. The Thunder Strike.
This is just a more fair version of Mikey's Iron Hands list.
It has no drop pod devs, so
And no
Volkites. So by fair you mean like worse.
By fair, I mean...
Sorry, I'm
You'll-
getting like glare right here.
Me too. By fair, I mean like you'll actually play a game with your opponent and interact with each other. Which is not what you want to be doing with this style of play. You want to not be interacting with your opponent. You want them to just die to your bullets as you maniacally laugh.
Yeah.
The Blade Guard are interesting. Mikey didn't really have any combat threats. He had 2x5 Vanguard vets, but they were not.
They don't kill. They don't really survive either.
Yeah.
When it's just that, I think you have to double down. So
Yeah.
I like the Blade Guard actually better in a lot of ways. Yeah. I guess you're.
This isn't 2,000 points.
No, it's not.
This is like 800 points.
If you were getting your expert crafters, whatever it's called, for the Thunder Strikes, then it's more interesting.
Oh, your Iron Hand successor? Well, I mean, we don't even know that
Well,
this
you
is
made
Iron
me
Hands.
think that, but I'm still stuck on the speeders. I don't
It's
like
a safe assumption
speeders.
that it's Iron Hands.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take this in anything other than Iron Hands. It was Ironstone. It has to be Iron Hands. They have Ironstone.
Ah, there we go.
Solved it.
We knew that.
Solved the riddle.
Okay. Yeah, do Iron Hands. Can you have the Ironstone with successors? Yes, you can. Yeah. Trust me. I used to play Iron Hands. I know.
Wasn't that like 2 Iron Hands books ago?
Yeah, feels like it. No, it was 2 Space Marine books ago, but not 2 Iron Hand books ago.
Sure. The supplements are still 1,000 years old, but there have been 2 total revamps of Space Marines since then.
Well, there you go. So yeah, that does make I like the speeders a bit better then.
Because Iron Hands.
Because Iron Hands.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you need something as Iron Hands. The reason it's all right is you need something fast enough to actually take advantage of Dev Doctrine turn 1. Because they're just going to hide their whole army.
Yeah, and you need something that can get some rerolls in here.
Yeah.
For these things that don't get rerolls.
Yeah.
You can always put them in Dev Doctrine, which is awesome.
There you go. Thank you, Baron. It's a joy watching the narrative brilliance while painting my Thousand Sun Flyers for Aeronautica. What?
Yeah.
There aren't Thousand Sun Flyers for Aeronautica.
Oh, well,
there?
you could use Space Marine rules.
They announced Necrons, so they didn't...
Well, I doubt they have the models that haven't come out yet. Even if they,
I don't
did
know,
announce
man.
Sunflyers.
I got really excited there. What would a Thousand Suns Flyer even look like?
It would be fabulous, first of all. It would be pure gold. It would have like all the ornamentation all the way across it. Or it would just be Tezca as a spaceship, so it'd just be big pyramids.
Yes.
Like multiple of them, just like Zom.
I'm surprised they didn't do that for Necrons.
Yeah, that's true.
They should have just had a model that just floats around. And it's like, it takes up 4 hexes.
Yeah.
And it only moves 1 hex per turn, but
Oh
it
my
shoots
God.
like laser beams. Sorry, Baron. You go on to say, will we see more Aeronautica in the future? Maybe as part of a narrative campaign combined with 40k and Kill Team.
That's a cool idea.
Zach really wants to do it.
I definitely am not saying no. I think, will we see more on Aeronautica? Almost certainly. Will we see combined with the campaign? Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be better pre-recorded content than live.
Yeah, because it's a lot, right?
It's
a lot.
either not enough Aeronautica and like that, because it's not enough. It's too much to do both in one show. It'd be like a 5-hour show.
Oh yeah,
So you have to tear down the Aeronautica and set up the 40. You can't do that in one show. And then, so if the Aeronautica was on its own, we split it into 2 shows. Like that's not enough for a show. Mm-hmm. So do you do like a different game of Aeronautica before or after the campaign game? Right. I don't really. I think that would be pre-recorded content.
Yeah, because then you can and you can kind of hit the highlights and be like, this is what happened.
In which case, I fully support Zach
in doing that.
In doing this.
I mean, Aeronautica.
He has my blessing.
Zach works his butt off, but Aeronautica was one of those things that he was randomly like, oh, I'll do an extra show, which was right after Titanathon. I'll do an extra show and do all this stuff because I want to see it that much.
Yeah,
which is cool. So
he has my blessing.
Yeah, I will say this: we do have more narrative content planned. It's already in the works.
There you have it. Thank you, Mutza. Great game, guys. I'm building my Mega Dread while watching. Plan is to come in via a teleporter with ramming speed, 12-inch charge, fairly safe.
Yes. Why does it say a 12-inch charge fairly safe? It'll be a 9-inch charge.
I don't know why it says that.
Well, don't do that. But you can do a 9-inch charge. The Orc vehicles 3d6 with the full reroll, they're awesome. You can actually count on it. It's great.
12 on 3d6 rerolling.
Less consistent.
Not consistent. So make sure you actually deep strike correctly.
Yeah, make sure you can do 9 inches.
9 inches away. Thank you, JT. Streaky bacon is as much fat as it is meat and thinner. That's in the US.
Yeah.
British style bacon is more meat. Look up gammon, which is smoked. If you love bacon, some garnish it with pineapple, where the pizza idea came from.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I heard a lot of things that aren't bacon. And in the beginning, I heard slanderous words against bacon.
Streaky bacon.
There's something to crunchy bacon. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, you should be able to snap it.
I explained this to the Brits on the trip. I was like, they're like, well, what is even the American bacon? I was like, it's obviously thin, it's all this stuff, it's straight, and it's crisp, so you can hold it up and hold it straight. And they're like, oh, so it's like in the cartoons. I was like, yes. It's an actual thing.
Yes, but like, you gotta try it. And they say they've had actual bacon, but they haven't because they don't cook it right. They have like flappy...
Right, because there's 2 things happening. There's the cut of the bacon, and there's the way that you cook it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they don't understand. One day, England... We'll learn something from their colonies.
Well, you know what they say.
They'll make real bacon.
You guys might be 6 months ahead of the meta, but we're many years ahead of the bacon game. So
centuries.
Which would you rather have?
We're centuries ahead.
Centuries ahead. You guys will figure it out eventually.
Thank you, Rory. How viable are Ultramarines in the meta right now? Actual Ultramarines, not successors. Huge fan of the channel, by the way. It's a massive reason why I've got back into the hobby after 13-year break. Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
That.
We welcome you back into the hobby.
That's what we do it for, you know? Non-successor Ultramarines.
So the benefit of being actual Ultramarines, named characters.
Yeah, which is big.
Which named characters do you want?
Tigurius.
Okay. He's not, he's like...
No, he's good, he's good.
He's 2 on my list.
Okay, that's fair. But he is on your list.
He's on my list.
Wait. So you have a number 1? Don't tell me, don't tell me.
I won't tell you.
It better not just be Gilliman.
No. Okay. I don't think Gilliman's very good right now. Because he dies to everything.
It's not Cassius.
Nope, it's not Cassius. There's one more named character. Well, there's a bunch more, but like, there's one more than that.
It's not Calgar.
It is Calgar.
Really? Why is he number 1?
Yeah, because he's actually a pretty good named chapter master. The few named chapter masters that are in the game are actually coincidentally pretty good.
Okay.
Dante's pretty good. I already forgot his name. Calgar is pretty good. Yeah. Those are the only 2 named chapter masters you can play. Oh, there might be a Space Wolf one that you can play. Grimnar. Logan Grimnar.
Grimnar, is he chapter master?
Is he chapter master?
We should know this. No, Ragnar's captain.
Ragnar's just some guy that fights really well.
He's just the guy, you know?
Yeah.
But, okay, you're right. And you know what they let you do as well? Well, actually, what all these characters let you do is let you save command points. You don't, so...
Well, it's a point upgrade now.
Chapter master?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That is... Sorry, but like the librarian, for example, Tigurius, you'd have to make him chief apothecary, so that's points. And realistically, you want to give them the warlord trait for +1 to cast, so it saves you there. But you're right, chapter master is inbuilt. Interesting.
We don't count Gabriel Seth. That doesn't count. No, he's a
Gabriel Seth.
He's a Forge World chapter. There's a bunch of Forge World chapter masters. We don't count.
Not. He's Flush Tears.
He's resin.
No, he's fail cast, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he's not Forge World.
With the it's
Yeah.
always droopy. His
Bald guy?
Eviscerator is always
yeah,
droopy.
because it's old fine cast.
Okay, all right.
Gabriel Seth. He is pretty dope.
I mean, now he's in the Codex, so I guess I can't say that he's Forge World because he's in the Codex.
Yeah, you also can't because he never was.
He was in the Forge World. Was he
No.
in the 8th edition Codex?
Yeah, he's
No,
always
Gabriel
been.
Seth was not
He's
in the
always
8th.
been.
No.
Always has. I feel like we have this book somewhere. We can solve this. We just go off
Shrike.
camera.
Shrike is the chapter master. He's
Is he
not
actually
good,
chapter
though.
master?
He's not
Okay.
good, though.
You know, Shrike is funny because I've always liked him, like as a person. No.
As a person.
No, because I think he's quite good. He gives reroll charges, chapter master, he fights well.
Not all Gabriel Seths are metal. I guarantee it. That's not true. That's not true.
I don't think that's true.
A bunch of them are droopy, somewhere between resin and plastic thing.
Look, if you want to play say, Gabriel Seth, you got to go out there, get yourself a metal Gabriel Seth.
Yeah.
Get a pewter Gabriel Seth.
Same with Lamarties. If you want to play them, you got to go get a
have to.
pewter Lamarties.
You can't. The thing is, like, if you take a non-metal one to an event, someone's gonna take your model and they're gonna fight it, which is a legal move. And when your model breaks, I'm sorry, like if it was pewter, it would just kind of mush around, and it'd be
they would
legal. And you could put your
Probably
model
get
back.
lead poisoning.
Yeah, but if it's not, prepare yourself for being upset.
High Marshal Helbrecht is not a chapter master. We're getting some questionable answers in chat. But Logan Grimnar is the chapter master. So we nailed that one. Anyway, where do we start? Calgar. Right, Calgar,
So name characters: Calgar.
pretty good. Tigurius, pretty good. I wouldn't take the rest of them.
Wouldn't take the rest.
Those are the reasons to be pure Ultramarines.
Yeah. Fall back and shoot. Well, fall back and shoot.
Because you can take that as one of your two.
You can.
You can be half Ultramarine.
But here's the thing, like there's diminishing returns. Like if you're gonna be a successor and only half, like at that point, what's your other trait and why is it worth losing like the named characters and these other benefits for?
Well,
right?
the only other benefit is +1 leadership, which is the other half your chapter
No.
tactic you're giving
I
up.
mean, like the named characters are one of the other benefits.
Yes, yeah. So it's
You know what
named
I'm saying?
characters and +1 leadership.
Like it's good for if you're playing a dread list, right? Because fallback and shoot is great.
But I would take that. If I wanted to play Ultramarine successors, I would take fallback and shoot, and either. Wait, can you take fallback and shoot? I might be wrong on that.
You're like, I don't.
You can't take +1 leadership, and you can always be half of all of them.
No, I don't think they're all available. It's like
Salamanders aren't available anymore because they changed what salamanders do. You can have old salamanders, you can't have new salamanders.
I feel like we've gotten to the point where we need to look.
I would take fallback and shoot if you can, and either +1 to advance and charge, or fallback and charge. There's no way you can have fallback, shoot, and charge as Space Marines. I don't believe it. People would be doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Adrian's getting the bug.
But now you're answering not their question.
But we have to evaluate like what are your two options, right? It's
But they don't want to be a successor.
pure Ultramarines.
That's the one thing they don't want. That's the whole
But you have
point.
to compare. You have to
The
be like, all
only
right, you
reason-
gain this and you lose that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
double down on the things you gain and
Right.
forget the things you lose.
Exactly. Gosh, so I'm proving a negative. I have to look through all of them so I know that it doesn't exist. Great. This is the worst. Nope. This is great content.
You also, if you're a successor, have to pay a CP to get Seal of Oath. You have to
Seal of Oath. There's a couple strats like that.
use
right?
a strat to get the normal relic, which that's the only normal relic in Ultramarines that you care about. And you can just take it not as your first relic, so then you have to pay a CP anyway.
Yeah, there's no fallback and shoot.
so you
that's-
can't be half Ultramarines.
No.
Why would they do that?
Because they're the OGs. Nobody can replace them.
Okay,
If
so
you're gonna, like successor Ultramarines are more for like combat stuff. So your Emperor Spears or whatever. So in this case, fallback and shoot is
big.
great.
It's big, yeah,
It's
yeah.
important. Regardless. So I think
oh, there's a strat to fall back and shoot.
so it's optionality versus whatever, you know? No, I still think there are reasons to do it. Which is the
Yes,
characters.
yeah, it's a
You
trade-off.
have that trait.
Yeah.
Because you can obviously be tagged by multiple things. And the truth is, if you have 2 dreadnoughts or something, or that's a bad example because they can shoot in combat, but you have 2 units, and they both get tagged. One of them falls back. or they will fall back and shoot. Only one of them can still shoot. Or if you're like a Dreadnought, for example, and you fall back with the one that can shoot in combat, well, then these guys can't shoot anyway. So, there's a lot of cases where if they multi-tag you, then the strat does nothing.
Right.
Which a good player will do. So, I think it's not crazy. But obviously, keep these things in mind when you're working on your list, if that's important to you.
And how viable are Ultramarines in the meta? They're like middle of Space Marines, which is like middle of everything. So they're not at the top, which means you won't see them winning events very much. There are a few really good players who have been playing Ultramarines just because they love Ultramarines.
Yeah.
A lot of them play Successors, though.
Yeah, right now. Pretty much everyone.
Yep.
But
if you're pure, you're taking Guilliman or Calgar. That's the only reason to be pure.
Tiggy.
It's not the only reason, but it's like one of those two. You will be. You won't see pure Ultramarines without one of those two, and probably Tigers.
You heard it from Bridger. Gilliman is the only reason to stay pure.
And then last one of the night. Thank you, Captain Jaunter.
Thank you.
John
Tar.
Tar. Working on Space Wolves. How would you feel about classic units converted to Primaris scale? Whoop. Countess?
Countess.
Oh.
Like
I thought it was like Ludas, like Countess.
Countess. one boy, two boy.
For example, GHBC. What?
General's Handbook in British Columbia. Okay, moving on.
Feeling like upscaling like the new Black Templar stuff. Also, where are those thick trees from?
Those
We
thick
had
trees.
a lot of questions about the trees.
Guys, the thick trees are in the Hobby Titans video where they'll explain everything, but they were 3D printed. Yeah, I don't know where they're from beyond that, but it will be in the video. So
They
check it
are
out.
no longer available in any form.
These trees?
Is the disappointing answer.
Is it really?
Yeah, Brett had to like broker a deal with the guy who sells the STL. Because the guy stopped selling the STL.
Yeah.
So Brett had to like reach out to him and broker a deal. And don't all several thousand of you reach out to this guy because you want to print his trees. If he doesn't want to sell them to the mass public, you are the mass public. Don't harass him, please.
You unwashed masses, you.
He doesn't want to sell them. He doesn't want to sell them. Brett had an exception. He was the last exception.
Wow.
Don't try to get these trees.
Guess the guy just doesn't like money.
But do watch the video.
Please do. So the Primaris scaling of things is very interesting because it used to be, well, it used to be a no-no, to be honest.
Right.
People would be like, oh, that's
It
weird.
did.
But there's some in the kind of the cultural zeitgeist of Warhammer, we've all kind of
just moved
accepted.
on.
It's fine. Especially, because of Space Marines, basically.
Yeah.
And people just do it all the time. Obviously, there's a couple of things that you have to be careful of. Like, you can't really Primaris your Crusader squads, because that exists.
Yeah.
So anything that exists and it could be confusing, obviously don't do that.
Yeah.
But so, for example, don't take your Intercessors and be like, oh, that's a regular Marine.
Right.
But what you can do is you can take Intercessors, give them jump packs, and turn them into Assault Marines or Vanguard vets, because there's no possibility for confusion.
Yeah.
So that's the only line I would draw. Other than that, it's totally fine. Tournaments, everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of accepted, which is good. We can just let people have fun.
As long as it's not confusing, it's totally fine. Like if you have all Intercessor models and some of them are Blood Claws and some of them are Intercessors,
Blood Claws, BC.
that's a no-no. Yeah, it's Grey Hunters and Blood Claws. That was GH and BC.
Oh.
Like that's a no-no.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not doing that, if you have all Intercessor models and you say they're all Blood Claws, cool. You have larger Space Marines, that's only a disadvantage to you. I don't care. And it looks better. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like if you put Blood Claw heads on Intercessor bodies,
Yeah.
it's just gonna look better.
And the head for sure I would keep. If you keep the
Yeah.
Intercessor helmets,
Right.
could get confusing. But if they all have like the kind of heads,
Yeah.
then it's good. I like it.
That's it. That was all the questions.
We did a thing.
And we had some hot takes at the end there.
We had some real hot
I think
takes.
we upset some people.
Oh no.
That's okay.
About what? What did we
move on.
say?
Well, but all these name character stuff.
Oh.
Flesh Chair is not counting. and pretty much everything I said
Yeah.
about every name character.
Pretty much.
You know.
Yeah. What do you think, Brett?
We just hear him in his car talking to his wife.
Smoking a cigarette. The bit's still going. Yeah. Oh, okay. We got multiple bits going.
call
I like
back.
it. Call back. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's been a ton of fun. Hopefully, if you guys did enjoy this content, playing a standard game, but more in a more narrative context, something that we definitely are interested in doing more in the future, please do check out the making of over on Hobby Titans. There is a link below, and I'll also put it at the end of this video if you're watching this not in live. You're watching this from the future.
The future.
Yeah, otherwise than that, as you mentioned, big stuff happening next week with Titans Terrain. Be tuning in. If you're a member, Tuesday night. If you're not a member, starting Wednesday, we're going to do a bunch of stuff throughout the week. So good stuff to check out. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.
Bye.